Try the employee door on the side.
Announcement made. Can you help us with that?
I could.
Employees in the back be made aware.
We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason.
It's 4:12 a.m. in Franklin, Alabama, and there's an oppressive stillness in the air. The kind that signals an impending storm. A flickering neon sign marks a wellness center, casting an unsettling green glow on the rain-slicked pavement. From the street, it looks like any other quiet business in a small town, but step inside and you're met with the smell of stale cigarettes and an overwhelming sense of dread emanating from the dark parking lot. 60 elite agents from the FBI and Homeland Security investigations are preparing their equipment and adjusting night vision gear. These professionals represent the front line of Operation Coast to Coast, possibly the most ambitious federal operation against modern slavery ever conducted on US soil. This isn't just a local bust, we're witnessing the takedown of an international criminal network, a multi-billion-dollar operation built on human suffering that stretches from Hong Kong high-rises to quiet American neighborhoods. This channel reveals the disturbing truth about illegal massage parlors, businesses that have turned ordinary streets into profit centers for overseas crime bosses. We're fighting for the safety of our communities. Aurora police have been targeting massage parlors involved in prostitution, which often leads to uncovering larger human trafficking operations. Federal authorities are taking aggressive action, but success requires everyday people to stay aware. If this information shocks you, hit the like button and comment "Protect America" to help spread awareness. Your engagement helps the story reach more people and sends a message to these criminal organizations. As federal teams simultaneously raided locations in Franklin, Austin, and New York, they expected to find a few undocumented workers. Instead, what awaited them horrified even veteran agents. These weren't commercial businesses, they were prisons. Officers discovered a complete absence of human dignity. But one particular discovery elevated this from a vice case to a national security crisis. The operators weren't typical street criminals. As teams secured the locations, the detection equipment went wild. Each site was equipped with sophisticated hidden surveillance technology, high-definition cameras concealed in smoke detectors. These feeds allowed handlers in China to monitor everything in real time. This was a transnational command center, a seamless component of a global operation treating American suburbs like a personal ATM. Investigators quickly realized this went far beyond prostitution. They'd uncovered an industrial-scale human trafficking system. The victims, mostly from China, were lured with promises of legitimate jobs and given falsified documents. After traveling overseas, they found themselves trapped. Their captors immediately claimed they owed $50,000 to $70,000 for transportation costs and forced them to work it off through grueling 20-hour shifts every day, sleeping on the same beds used by clients. Then agents found the logbooks. The women were rotated between states every few months. Texas to New York, Missouri to Oklahoma, this constant movement kept them confused and isolated, preventing them from learning English or feeling secure enough to seek help from neighbors. They existed in constant transit, treated not as people, but as expendable products in a worldwide operation. This criminal network had deeply penetrated the American heartland. From California and New York coasts to Texas, Missouri, and Oklahoma plains, a single invisible thread of money and communications connected them all. Behind the scenes, recruiters, transporters, and accountants maintained the logistics, ensuring this assembly line of human suffering ran without interruption. They operated openly, converting typical strip malls and quiet suburban plazas into hubs for moving women nationwide. Christine, this incredible survival story shows us how easily a young woman can become a trafficking victim while funneling billions in illicit proceeds directly to foreign crime lords. The sheer number of arrests was headline-worthy, but the real horror wasn't in the arrests, it was in the financial records. Money flowed through shell corporations disguised as innocent health spas and consulting businesses. When federal agents broke the encryption and seized the records, they discovered thousands of messages linking American operatives to their overseas controllers. This wasn't random, it was a military precision operation with commanders sitting on the other side of the world. As daybreak came over the shattered storefronts, and the first of over 60 survivors were led from darkness into federal protection, a frightening reality became clear. This went beyond a standard police operation. It was an assault on a shadow army conducting a silent war right under ordinary citizens' noses. As the FBI pulled on this thread, they realized they weren't at the end, they were at the entrance to a much darker maze. After the initial phase of Operation Coast to Coast concluded, financial analysts from the FBI and IRS criminal investigations took center stage. Their mission was to follow the money. But those financial trails didn't lead to local bank accounts. They revealed a global maze designed to launder the proceeds of $1 billion exploitation empire. This wasn't a collection of independent small businesses. This was a precision-engineered, transnational financial machine. They operated their criminal enterprise with the organizational sophistication of a major corporation. Investigators uncovered a money laundering system so complex it would confuse top Wall Street professionals. Profits from exploitation in Alabama, Texas, and New York were divided into thousands of small transactions, a technique known in the industry as smurfing. Here's how this system functioned. The moment cash was extracted from a victim at a Missouri location, it was logged in a secure digital spreadsheet. That money then passed through more than 200 shell companies hiding behind innocuous names like Golden Lotus Wellness or Pacific Real Estate. Federal agents even caught them live streaming their financial data, transmitting updates to East Asia every hour. This level of operational discipline is exactly why they remained undetected for years. But the logistics extended beyond currency. They moved human beings with equal efficiency. The latest human trafficking operation by the county sheriff's office resulted in over 240 arrests. Homeland Security discovered a rotation system where victims were transported across state lines every few months. Kept perpetually mobile, these women were managed like warehouse inventory rather than human beings. While financial analysts decoded the money trail, the ground investigation was about to make major breakthroughs. The operations based in Texas and California were deeply established. On one street, agents found physical evidence of how extensive the corruption was. 3 storefronts that appeared unrelated from the outside were secretly connected by a hidden corridor built inside. This escape route allowed them to move victims and evidence next door the moment law enforcement entered the front door. It proved the syndicate hadn't just leased space, they'd surgically integrated themselves into the city's infrastructure. Federal agents knew the stakes, moved too quickly, and the rest of the network would disappear into the shadows. Through surveillance, agents tracked the arrival of supervisors. These weren't customers, they were middle management operators running daily operations. Preparing for the takedown required orchestrated tactical planning. Strike teams had studied blueprints for every massage parlor, identifying exactly where hidden rooms and makeshift sleeping areas were located. Their goal went beyond forced entry. They aimed to break the psychological control over these women. Each arrest warrant represented a piece of a massive network involving visa fraud, money laundering, and organized crime. Understanding this scope completely changed the atmosphere at the operations center. They weren't pursuing low-level operators, they were dismantling a billion-dollar empire built on logistics and intelligence. Investigators discovered that traffickers were smuggling women through Canada to bring them onto US soil. He just said, "I'm a pimp and you're my hoe and I'm going to take you somewhere. You're going to be given instructions." As the raid count then approached 0, the enormous scale of the mission became crystal clear. This wasn't simply about closing businesses, it was about destroying a billion-dollar monster. Federal agencies were confronting a criminal infrastructure built on deception, digital coordination, and ruthless profit-seeking. Planning was complete, targets were identified, weapons were ready, and every officer knew their role precisely. Then the countdown ended. Across 5 states, the quiet suburban morning exploded with flashbang grenades and battering rams. Operation Coast to Coast went active as strike teams simultaneously hit more than 20 locations, breaking through barriers. What they discovered inside was a grim picture of systematized abuse. During the Austin sweep, officers found women packed into tiny crawl spaces and hidden behind false walls. A single area barely larger than a closet contained 4 dirty mattresses on the floor. As federal agents entered, the women didn't see them as rescuers. To them, it appeared to be another terrifying event. Interpreters and victim advocates spent hours reassuring them that their captors' control was finally ended. The final statistics were staggering. Authorities arrested 30 high-level organizers. These suspects weren't low-level workers, they were the command center running the entire operation. One arrest in Oklahoma involved a 38-year-old man operating an online network that trafficked a 14-year-old minor across borders. Facing federal charges for child exploitation and trafficking, he's likely facing life imprisonment. Authorities say those women will receive necessary support. The spa owner faces court tomorrow. The biggest revelations emerged during evidence collection, pulling up flooring and opening concealed safes. Investigators found more than just records. They discovered the wealth of an underground war. The raids revealed the enormous scope of this billion-dollar criminal operation. Authorities warn that when one establishment closes, two more likely open under new corporate identities. However, the FBI sent a clear message: hiding behind legitimate business fronts is no longer viable. Beyond rescuing 60 lives, this bust exposed the complete structure of modern slavery operating domestically. Recovery is just the beginning. Survivors are receiving T visas, granting them legal status to remain in the country. Meanwhile, the criminals are beginning their own ordeal. Prosecutors are charging him under RICO statutes, the same powerful tools used to dismantle organized crime and drug cartels. The message to the public is clear: freedom requires vigilance. These illegal spas operated in local shopping centers right next to grocery stores and playgrounds. This criminal empire relied on public indifference to keep profits flowing. To follow updates on this case and learn how task forces are reclaiming control from these underground networks, subscribe to this channel now. Stay vigilant.